Welcome to Smart Branding, a podcast dedicated to branding, naming, and domain names. I'm Tatiana Bonneau, and with my guests, we try to help you create and grow strong, memorable, and meaningful brands online. I believe time is one of our most precious assets, and so I want to thank you in advance if you decide to spend the next 30 minutes with us. I promise to do my best to make those worth it. Let's go! My guest today is Nikola Minkov. He's the founder and executive director of Bulgaria's most internationally acclaimed SEO agency, Serpact, SERP Academy, SERP Conference, as well as Trackian. Hi, and thank you for making the time, Nikola.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Let's start with a bit of a background. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you get to do what you did today?
You already mentioned that I'm founder and CEO of Serpact. I think Bulgarian flagship SEO agency. Since 2016, my journey has been about more of the power of the SEO, how to help the business grow. And I'm also, let's say, orchestrator behind SERP Conf, esteemed SEO event in Central and Eastern Europe. We try to be part of this industry. And founder of SERP Academy, where we have a strong partnership with the Sofia University and especially FEBA faculty of Sofia. And a little bit in secret, my entrepreneurial spirit thrives with Trackian, a SaaS venture aimed at optimizing digital performance, and proudly serve I'm proudly serve on the board of directors of the Bulgarian E-commerce Association. So that's it on my end. And finally, a few days ago, I was a member, recognized like a member of SERP Council program for businesses. So that's it for now.
That sounds quite busy already.
Yeah.
So let's talk about SERP a little bit. I've had other guests on the topic, but for those who haven't followed and are kind of new to the term, just shortly explain to me what it is and who needs it for their business.
So like our brand, Serpact, SERP means search engine result pages. And of course, later we'll talk about the next three important things from our brand, act. But actually, SERP is philosophy for me. The prayer of embarking on our entrepreneur path with Serpact, I delved into the world of digital marketing and SEO. My focus was to understand the search engines in general and the digital landscape. And I think this is the most important thing, to understand digital landscape in general, not just only SEO or search engines, doesn't matter, Google, Bing, or Yahoo. It's important to understand the whole digital marketing landscape. So the philosophy of SERP is separated to a few different steps. The first one, and one of the majors, is the technical part. Of course, like one house, everybody needs of strong technical configuration. In the web and in digital, it's same, because the search engine is trying to understand and to crawl the website, and after that to understand what is there. And the first step is crawling, the second one is rendering, the third one is indexing. So in the first one, crawling, and the second one, rendering, the technical part is most important. Of course, the content marketing in general is the strongest part in SEO. So in our end, maybe more than 60 or 70% of the one SEO project is related to the content. Not just content for SEO, content for the users. And of course, the users are more important in their intent.
Absolutely. I think I oftentimes get to that point with my guests, and it's something that we see a lot of
entrepreneurs, I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel get wrong, where they obsess over SEO, and they produce content that actually isn't great to read, doesn't have like any value for the reader. And I mean, however good it ranks, I think ultimately the aim of the search engines is to please users as well. So even if you manage to, trick some results and appear on top, if ultimately doesn't serve the user, I feel that's not a great long-term goal.
Yeah, absolutely agree. The reason sometimes is because the SEOs experts trying to deliver the results of their clients faster and faster. But in the long term, this strategy is not the greatest, because the users, the content is part of the communication with the users, not just content for search engines. And the secret is, we say in Serpact, content discovery. And the secret is there. If we understand, if we touch the product, if we understand the business goals, the business problems, we can configure out the right user intent for each keyword, for each phrase. And if we configure out that, we can build the right content marketing strategy for them. Of course, with focus on search engines too, but the first main goal is how this content will help to the users, their clients.
Absolutely. So that brings me to my next question, which is common mistakes. We just mentioned one, and I'm going to highlight it. You did say that a lot of SEO experts are rushing to show quick results, which I completely get, because oftentimes you have that pressure from the client or from your managers, if you in-house department, that results. So I would say that's one mistake, where people sacrifice the longer term success for short-term results. What would you say are some common mistakes that you see as well?
There are many, but let's say that from one end, of course, the customers are trying to pressure the agency, but from other end is why we don't explain the real situation. The SEO is it's not same like performance channel, for example, Google search ads or email marketing or meta advertising, or doesn't matter. There is some kind of period to prepare the project. It depends from the project and the current situation of the project, but let's be honest with the clients, and we try to be honest with them. Of course, not all of them appreciate that. Many of them are say, okay, it's too long to prepare our strategy for 6 months. We want results after 2 months. But for me and for our team, in the core values, one of the most important word is to be honest. So be honest, and the project, the SEO, the Google, the Google results, and all of these kind of connections will award you. So the honesty is the secret. Be honest with the clients, explain the real flow and what is your real timeline and pipeline for this project. Because if we promise faster results, faster strategy for short time period, are we keep the quality? Are we are honest with the client? Are we deliver what they expect? Most of the time is no. This is one of the biggest challenges. So miscommunication, probably, let's say shortly that. And the other one is from the, let's say, challenge is evergreen, ever-changing algorithms in search engines. So staying ahead means investing in research and development. It's important. We overcome this by fostering a culture of learning within and keeping our fingers on pulse of SEO trends. It is important because if you believe that you're on the top on the knowledge part of SEO, this means that you're in the middle, probably not this. So it's something like a dream, but this dream can be finished very faster if you realize that your strategy is not working well. But in general, Google is trying to be the best semantic search engine, and they do it actually. Because let's say that from financial perspective, they need to be the best search engine, relevant search engine, because all of the Google search ads campaigns are generate more than 70% of the revenue of Alphabet company. So this is the reason why they want to be with keep good tempo and high quality of the relevance.
You mentioned a few times now strategy, and I feel like in my realm of things, when we're talking about domain names, I find it very hard to get across to people to communicate the importance of not just like having one domain name, but having a domain strategy. Because like, if you're a small corner shop and you don't even have even though I'm struggling to think who doesn't need online presence nowadays because everybody's walking around with their phone. So even the small corner shop needs presence. But let's say it may be less important there. But any even medium-sized business, not to talk about global businesses, in my experience, it's not just it's not a luxury, it's a necessity nowadays. You have to have a domain name strategy, but it's very hard to communicate that to people. And you mentioned a few times strategy when it comes to SEO. So talk to me a bit about that, at what point in the business should an entrepreneur think about their SEO strategy, and what does that look like as a process?
First, a great explanation and example from your end, because if we want to, let's say, to be a factory, we can sell, like your service, some software where you can list 1,000 of domains and sell for everyone. But I suspect, based on what you say, I suspect that you think how to care. You care about the client. You need to understand the client needs, and this is the first step, to understand what are their needs and what is the current situation. And this is the secret. So I already mentioned that we said in our key content marketing discovery, there are 10 steps for onboarding the client. The first one is content brief, to talk with the client like a friend, to understand their pain, their goals, their advantages. And all of these kind of important information and steps should be collected. And of course, we're trying after that to collect all of the content part of this related answers. For example, we extract all support chat histories, some support tickets, or sometimes we talk with the clients, our clients' customers, and interview them, making interviews with some of them, not with all, because sometimes it's hard to be with all. But if we understand their pain, if we understand, sometimes the business don't realize that the customer is asking one same question many times because they are not communicate this question very well in the website. And the reason why we are not honest to publish this content on the website sometimes is scare. We say that we can be better on this flow or this task or this product. But why not? If you skip this tons of communications internally with support team, it's some like a secret, but the secret is not working well for the business in general for long term. And the steps of the content marketing discoveries include, of course, keyword research to understand the intent for each keyword, not just a group of keywords. Of course, it's the oldest term of SEO is core of keywords, but we say semantic network, because the semantic network means that what the users think of different flows of their behavior. So to understand their behavior based on the keywords and map all of them in one semantic network. And this will help us to understand where and why the customers searching some keywords or a group of keywords, and the formula will be answer us many important questions. We will identify the important questions for the business. And the next steps, of course, are the content marketing strategy, where we combine everything, structure everything, add a brief for each page. Sometimes the brief is more than 2 pages, more than the content. But it's important to think about each page of our website, because let's say again, the content is direct communication with our customers, and we should never forget that.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your brands. So I deal with naming and domain names, and I saw you have Serpact, you have a separate website and presence for the academy, separate for the conference. And that actually, I just thought about it right now, as you said, it's very important to educate as well, and care about your audience. It's not just about and not just the audience. I guess if you look at what you're doing, for example, I mean, what we're doing with smart branding is we're trying to educate everyone on the importance and trying to get them to make better choices with their names and domains. And you going even further, you have the academy, you have the conference. So in a way, you are moving the whole industry forward. So talk to me a bit about the reasoning for that, and how is it working? And I want to, after that, go a bit more about the conference, because I saw it's in April, so it's a good timing now for people to start planning for that.
Thanks. Let's say our core is SERP, again, SERP, search engine result pages, but the next word is separate based on the business idea, business goals. So Serpact is our core company, and ACT is coming from action. Because in our, I love the video of Steve Jobs where he talked about the core values, because everybody talk about the value proposition, but before the value proposition, some in the, let's say in the top is the core values, the mission, the philosophy of the company. And one of the things, especially, of course, we care, not just say the word care, but trying to care and understand the business very well. We want to be active, not just passive. We want to be the guys who are trying to going and talking with the developers, the content writers, educate them, making some sprints, or strategy is changed based on the business and market. It's important for us to be active, and we realize that this active is helping to our customers, and indirect to us, because if they are happy, we're happy too. For the other ones, SERP Acad, it's from Academy, SERP Conf. Let's say that I will share one secret. Nobody know about that. Our first brand was Valentin for You. It's coming from my oldest daughter. Now she is on 11. It's named Valentin. And this domain, I bought the domain for 10 years or 20 years. Now it's live. And if somebody trying to go Valentin for number you.com will read my story. And it's just that, my short story about this domain. I make mistake to trying to combine my internal feeling with the businesses, and I think that it is mistake. Probably you, like expert, will recognize too. But 1 year later, I starting to think what is the one of the best opportunity for us to choose a new brand name. I don't know that it's the perfect one. Probably nobody knows about their own, especially if you're in the middle of the business, because if we are Apple or Amazon, yeah, the answer probably is yes. But SERP is important for us to recognize our different products, academic conference, and our agency. And sometimes we change that. For example, our startup is different one because it's Trackian. It's coming from track, and it's connected to the Trackians in our region in Bulgaria. But of course, the C in Trackian is not connected to Trackians exactly, but it's connected to the track. We track the data and deliver the data in different way. So the brand name in general for us is it's born 2016, but I spent more than 6 months to identify what will be better based versus my first one, Valentin for You, and I just choose this one. Unfortunately, 6, 7, 8 years ago, there was not a company like yours where you can talk with him to get good advice and to help you to identify good brand name based on the core values, because I think that core values is very important when you choose brand name.
Absolutely. Well, that's what you mentioned with the personal name. I think it's something that we see a lot, not just about naming, but oftentimes I think in many industries, people are carried away by what they personally like, as opposed to what would best serve their business. Not to mention that many times when launching a business, you can't even know where it will go. So that's why oftentimes the advice I give is to try and think even like your craziest dreams. Like even if you don't think you're going to be global, what if you get to be global? If if you're launching, dog clothing shop and you're sure that's the only thing you're going to be doing, but what if you add then, food or other pets accessories or whatever? So that makes you think about the name in a way that you're not going to box yourself into one thing. That's something that happens oftentimes. What is your experience? What are your thoughts on the importance of the name, the brand name, and the domain name that the company chooses on what you specialize in on SEO and content creation?
So a few years ago, many companies from the SEO industry and digital marketing are recommend exact much domain names. For example, if you sell candies, or if you sell, let's say sellcandies.com. But many brands can sell candies online, or it doesn't matter if are candies or something else. But what about the story? Who will recognize you on the street if you have retail business? Will not type your brand name in the search engines. Of course, if you can connect some keyword or part of keyword with your business, will be great. Business niche, absolutely great. But the exact match domain names are automatically processed and not long-term investment. Nobody will remember you. I remember in SERP Conf in Miami, 2018, one of our speakers next year in SERP Conf, Gary Eilish, he's one of the most important persons in Google when we talk about search engines, of course. He explained why Google is not searchengine.com. And same story like mine today, but the reason why search engines sometimes prefer exact match domains is not the reason why the domain is exact match. The reason why the reason is because the content is better, the technical part is better, or they have strong backlink profile versus their users compared by them. So yeah, of course, exact match, some keyword or some idea how to play with the keywords, it's good idea, but it depends what you say. It's most important to create a brand. So we should think to get better brand identity.
Absolutely agree with you on that, and that's a lot of the content that we create is on trying to educate people on that, and it goes hand in hand with what we were saying earlier about SEO, and I think applies to many things. That ultimately the goal is to make the life of your customer easier, to give them value, to create value for them. So when we're talking about domain name strategy, it's very much that, because as you said, there was a time where it did matter for search engines to have like domain names stuck with keywords, because it was presumed that will make the life of the customers easier. Then people started abusing that, so that changed, and it doesn't matter now. And so ultimately, I completely agree with you that brand is important. And when we talk about, if you look at smart branding, actually, we don't talk about exact match domains. We talk about exact brand match domains. So a domain that matches the brand, which then removes any confusion and friction. And, you know, when you say the name of your company is that, people presume that your domain is going to be that.com. And that's the most intuitive, easy thing. So you don't require extra effort from the user to remember and refer and type that name. And obviously it's not always accessible, and there's, you know, compromises, or you have to pay for that confusion and for that friction one way or another. But that's kind of the aim. I feel that's kind of where we are with domains. And that's why I feel it's very important for people to realize and use domain names as brand assets as opposed to just a technical thing, because they're missing out on a lot and creating a lot of problems otherwise.
Yeah. The brand name is not just an identifier, but it's part of your brand story. So it's not a decision for 2 minutes. Of course, it's important to be easy to remember, spell, and should be fare well in the online environment, especially for SEO sometimes. But this is our core value, part of our core value, brand story. So it's a huge task And sometimes I'm really disappointed that some brands get the decision to change their brand without any idea, because the answer is because some customers don't like it. Some of how many and why? Are they real customers? Yeah. So it's important questions.
Well, the funny thing is that unfortunately, across industries, you hear a lot more from people that are not happy as opposed to people that are happy. So I think if you're going to change something in your company, especially something as important as your name, because somebody is not happy about something, it's not a decision to be taken lightly, because likely there are many people that are happy with it that you don't hear from.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we're talking about somebody, let's say, deciding they need services of a company like yours, the SERP side we're talking about, what should they look out for? What are some red flags? What are some good questions to ask for them to be able to choose the right company?
There are many, but more of the important questions is some relationship in our real lives. When you start talking with somebody, you can feel very easy that is these guys are interested of my project, of my business, or they just on the call because they should sell and the factory is working very well. You can recognize them based on their questions, how they are prepared for the meeting. Are they asking a lot of questions? Is very good signal, because if somebody asks you, they probably think about the project. Of course, the questions are important. What kind of questions? But this one of the signal. The second one, of course, is are they have their company names on their website, or the company names, who is the founder, the co-founders, and the shareholders, the head of departments. Are they recognized by community? Are the company own testimonials? I love video testimonials with combination of case studies. It's a great call to action for new customers, because they see the project, how the project is grow based on the case study, and after that they see the success story, the testimonial from the client. It's a good proposition, value proposition for the business. And of course, if they promise. One of the things in the SEO industry, but not only, is that you can't promise everything. You can't promise that you can serve, you can create a great strategy, you can be very deep in each type of tasks. And everything will be on the standard of the community, global community. But you can promise first position. Nobody can promise first position. You can forecasting the traffic increase. You can forecasting the transactions increase. But you can't forecasting exact numbers, because nobody can. The good things on SEO is that the difference between SEO and performance marketing in general, for example, if we compare it with pay-per-click campaigns in Google search ads and SEO for Google, is that if you stop with the SEO with your company, your results will be enough and very well for next 2, 4, 6, 8 months until you have a stable results. And your competitors will outrank you. Not the client will lose the position. This is the reason why sometimes they outrank you, because they make us smarter by you. But if you stop your search ads campaign, you stop to sell. The traffic is dropped. So here is the difference. Many times I explain to my partners, this means clients, that SEO is not outcome. SEO is investment for the future. Of course, sounds very nice, like story of Cinderella before 12, but yeah, I realized that more than around 3,000 projects are in my story on the SEO. All of them related to the SEO, and I realized that many of them are not many, more than 90% of them are successful because the clients believe that it's investment. If they think out just for outcome, they don't believe in SEO. And we try to configure out, is this client is our right client? Nobody is right client for us at the moment. So many signals. It depends from market, language, niche, competitors, and of course, what I said about the few signals, how to recognize the agencies.
Absolutely agree with you on that. And I think it's important that sort of a long term, and there's nothing wrong with building a business. And I've spoken to people when it comes to domain name choices, when you have people that build businesses that they want to quickly sell, for example. So for them, it's not that important the long term because they're not planning to be there for that. So they want results quick to, sell the business, and then it's not their problem. And then obviously the strategy is different for their name, for their SEO, for everything. But if you are building a business that you want to be there for the foreseeable future, definitely a lot of things change in your strategy, as you just said, like the SEO, the content, everything is long term. And I do like, and that's, I've had a few interviews now with people who, like yourself, specialize in SEO, and has, for myself, even demystified a lot of things, and I'm happy with it. And I hope that it's the same for our listeners, that a lot of people see SEO as that, black box of magic that's uncontrollable, and that, as you said, that's gonna, do quick results and that's it, or otherwise it's not working. And I very much start to see and agree with what you just said, that it is a long-term thing. And same as, you invest in your brand, that's the name, the domain name, and everything that goes with it. And you invest as well in the content that you produce, and that's an ongoing thing. And it's not always measurable, that week and that month. But as you said, the difference between that and paid advertising is, you can't say, I'm going to buy 100 clicks today, but it's there. It's there for years to come. Not to mention that you can even go back and update some content with something that's relevant. So it's an ongoing thing that has value and even becomes more valuable with time.
Yeah, of course. The important thing here is that let's clarify that pay-per-click campaigns are helping to SEO campaigns, and SEO campaign helping to. They work together. But sometimes there is cannibalization, and nobody talk about that because the big black box data-driven models in Google Analytics 4, for example, because there is a huge misunderstandable data. Of course, we can track that. This is the reason, one of the reasons, many reasons are behind Trackian, but this is one of the most important reasons, because we can track where is the first click, where is the middle click, who deserve to be awarded with this order, this transaction, for the reports of the clients, of course. And I miss, but you trying to share a little bit about that, but let's say careful with companies who explain that they have friends in Google. This scam. We know many guys from Google John Mueller, Martin Split, Gary Eilish, Daniel, many nice guys, ex-Googlers like Murat Yatagan and Pedro Diaz, but nobody of them will share something deeply. First reason is that nobody of them know how all algorithms work. Because they don't know. This is the question for trillions. And they have strong NDA contracts. And other thing, it's a philosophy. It's not ethical. Nobody will talk with you about how the algorithms work. Actually, they let's say they don't love this kind of questions. And of course, you can cooperate with them to ask them some questions in general based on the documentation, to share some case studies. Yes, this is not normal way. But if somebody say you, I have uncle in Google and he can share with me what really happened there, go away, guys.
Run away screaming. Absolutely. I've seen actually the sad realities. I have seen like real companies that, well, they don't say I have an uncle in Google, but it's not far off.
Yeah.
Let's talk about SERP Conf, about the conference. Tell me, who is it for and how can people participate?
Short story, on SERP Conf 2021, we start with the light edition, online edition, with around 1,000 users. 2022, we creating conference in Sofia, Bulgaria, but just in Bulgarian language for our community. The reason why we do that and why we choose the 10th of November, very important date in our region here, is that 2016 was the latest. I think, yeah, 2016 was the last one conference for SEO in Bulgaria. So we want to reborn again the conference for our SEO community, and there was 250 people locally in Bulgaria. This year, of 12th of October, we're creating Eastern Europe SERP conference, where we invite very famous names from the different places of the world, like speakers. For example, Trackian from Scotland, Murat Koray from Turkey, and many guys. I don't want to citate all of them because somebody will not very happy, but all of them was great. And next year we'll change the structure a little bit because we trying to analyze very well and deeply what our attendees said. This year was 410 visitors in Sofia, but the total tickets was 440 sale tickets. So it's better result based on previous one. And next year, the target is between 600 and 800 people in the National National Center of Culture in Bulgaria. And the days will be two days. First day will be for SEO. Second day will be for SEM, social media, and e-commerce. So with this kind of format, we can increase the auditoria. And our potential attendees will be with different kind of interests, and will be more helpful. And we organize very special part with the exhibitors. So we prepared a lot for the next edition.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to try and actually attend, but yeah, let me look into that. It sounds very interesting. Will people be able to have at least part of it online if they're not able to join physically?
Our decision for this kind of question is it's let's be only in Sofia. Let's be only there, not online, because in the 2022 the visitors 50 visitors are not coming because they want just to be online, and we realize that the community is strong when they talk together. Actually, this year 25 we have attendees from 25 countries, from Japan, from China, from US, from Canada, from Tunis, from Egypt. It's a huge different auditorium, and they make a business together. Next year, we organize and help them to make a more and better business together. One of the secret for next year. So our plan is to be just offline, let's say offline.
Great. Well, that's a good way to promote that sort of a connection as well, since we're online all the time. I think that's a nice way to go about it too. Well, that's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll include all the ways people can reach you and the various companies with the write-up for the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of Smart Branding Podcast. Feel free to visit smartbranding.com for more information and reach out if you have any suggestions, questions, ideas, or just want to learn more about how a good domain name strategy can help you build a strong and successful brand. See you next time!